There are two awful Christian parents who are now suing a public school district because the adults at the school decided to look out for the best interests of those parents' kid, of those two people's kid. The school looked out for the kid's best interests, and now the parents are so mad about that they are suing the school district because they don't have the same goal. And here's the actual story. This is from a right-wing legal group called Alliance Defending Freedom. This is the way they frame it. School district slips up, exposes its own dishonesty to parents. And I'm scrolling down quickly here, but these are the parents. Their names are Dan and Jennifer Mead, and it turns out they have a transgender son. And the son did not feel comfortable admitting this to his parents, apparently. But sometime last year at a public school, he told his teachers and counselors at East Rockford Middle School. Did I say high school? I meant middle school. In Michigan. He told his teachers and counselors in Michigan that he was trans and that they should use the correct name, which is not the name he was assigned at birth. He said, "Can you please call me by he, him pronouns?" And the adults at the school are like, "Yeah, of course we will. That's what you want. We'll do it." It's the same as like someone named Christopher saying, "Hey, teacher, can you call me Chris, even though that's not on my birth certificate?" And the teacher should be like, "Yeah, that's what you want to be called. Let's do it. Now here's your math homework." So yeah, they said, "All right, if that's what you want us to call you, we'll call you what you want. No big deal." And the school district, to be clear, doesn't have any policy requiring school officials to out kids against their will. So no one told the parents that their child wanted to be called by masculine pronouns and a masculine name. It turned out, I'm shortening the story, but like months later, the adults, the Meads, they discovered what was going on because they got an email from someone at the school that accidentally used their son's name and not the son's dead name, which is what they knew their kid by. And they were like, "What's going on here?" And they figured it out. And they've now pulled their son from the school district. And now, with the help of that right wing legal group, they are suing the district for protecting their child. And here's how the ADF, here's how they frame this. And just look at the horrible way they are framing this. By deliberately hiding information from the Meads about their daughter, yes, they are misgendering him on purpose, and I apologize for just quoting them here. But by deliberately hiding important information from the Meads about their daughter, the school district violated their parental rights. Parents have the fundamental right to direct the upbringing, education, and health care of their children, and government officials have no right to hide critical information from them. And I just want to talk about that part for a second, because the fact that they filed a lawsuit over this is just a giant admission that these parents are failures. Like, if your son or your daughter doesn't feel safe trusting you with the fact that they might be gay, they might be lesbian or bi, they might be trans, if they don't trust you with that information, but they trust other adults at their school, what does that say about you as a parent that they couldn't come to you with that information? That says you are bad parents. That's what it tells. That's what it says. If your kid doesn't tell you they are trans, it's probably for a good reason. Maybe they worry that you're going to abuse them. Maybe the kids are afraid you're going to kick them out of the house or submit you for like conversion torture or conversion therapy or whatever they want to call it. So maybe they don't want to tell you the truth because they don't trust that you care about them. But this kid trusted the adults at the school, and the school has an obligation to act in the best interests of the child. Like, not put the kid's life in danger by outing them to their parents against their will. So also think about what this means for what the school has to do. Nothing big. They're just saying, "All right, we'll call you by the name you want to go by. We'll use the pronouns you want us to use." It's not a big deal, and it shouldn't be something they have to get permission from the parents to do. Like, if that's what the kid wants and it improves their mental well-being and ability to function in school because they feel more comfortable in their own skin, great. That's a good thing. And keep in mind, this kid may have told the counselors why he didn't feel comfortable sharing any of this with the parents, but I don't know what that reason might be. That part is not public. So how horrible were these counselors at the school that are now being sued? The Meads, the parents, the Christian parents, they provided examples in their lawsuit. And I want to show you some of those things because they actually provided examples of emails. And I'll tell you this: the child's name that they want to go by starts with the letter F. So you see the letter F in this lawsuit. The last name is obviously Mead. Um, but the lawsuit says there was a social worker who wrote an email and they got access to this. Check this out. This is from the lawsuit here. I hope you could see this. GM, that's the dead name, as sorry, let me back up. The subject line of Miss Thorson's email was FM, and it referred to GM as though she were a boy named FM. Basically, they're mad that these people are not dead naming their kid. F is another person we should add to the library lunch option. He said he would sometimes like to have a quieter environment to eat, and he knows some other student who would be in the lunch with him. Aaron, this kid might be stopping by to see you today. He tried earlier and the office was locked, which is how he ended up in my office. He's a super cool kid. I really enjoyed my time with him. He's very self-aware. Signed, Dawn. That's an example the parents offer for why these are bad counselors or bad social workers. Like, I'm looking at that saying, I wish those types of counselors were the ones my kids had. I mean, I'm lucky to have very good social workers and counselors at the school my kids go to, but like, isn't that what you want for your kids? Someone who's looking out for that kid's best interest? That sounds wonderful. And here's a different email also cited in the lawsuit from the same social worker. Check this out. Here we go. It's at the very top here, number 94. At 10:27 that morning, Miss Thorson emailed GM's math teacher, subject line F, the dead name. I'm sorry, that's the correct name, referring to the dead name GM as though she were a boy named FM. All right. What's the email from the social worker? I met with F. Mead today, and he said he's struggling to understand math and feels stupid in it. I told him you're a great person to talk to about extra help. I also suggested he could come to Rob's room prior to school starting, which would be a quiet space to work. And with Rob's math knowledge, he'd be a great resource. Thanks, Dawn. Again, she sounds wonderful. And these parents are citing that email as proof that these people were out to get them, that they were hiding something from them, when clearly these adults working in the school district were just trying to do whatever they could to help out this middle school student who was going through a rough time. I cannot imagine how hard it must be to be a trans kid or even someone who's not sure what their gender identity is, but they think they're trans. Like, I don't know what's going on in the kid's head right now. But for the school to say, like, middle school sucks, even if none of that is happening. So if it is happening and you have these adults in your life who are looking out for you, that sounds amazing. And yet Alliance Defending Freedom is like, look at how horrible these people are. They're so mad that these adults at the school were helping out their kid. And conservative Christians, like, they hate it when other people show compassion to the people Jesus taught the conservative Christians to hate. I read through the lawsuit. At no point in the lawsuit or the press release did the Meads ever explain why their kid may not have told them he was trans. At no point did they grapple with having a trans kid. At no point did they offer any sympathy to the educators who seem to do everything in their power to make school a safe space for their kid. And they definitely don't explain why their kid will be better off being homeschooled, because that is what these parents did. They pulled the kid from public school last year because apparently public school is clearly an awful place for their kid. And again, they don't have to explain any of those details in the lawsuit, but they are so hell-bent on going after the school district, they repeatedly reveal their own like inner monstrosity. And the same could be said about the attorneys who like fail law school. So of course they work at ADF. Like these are not good lawyers. These are people whose last resort was working for a bigoted institution. Or maybe it's not. Maybe they graduated at the top of their class and they're like, what's the worst company I could work for? Private equity law firm? Nope. It's a nonprofit that promotes bigotry. Like, oh my God. The Meads go on to blame the adults at the school for attempting to socially transition their child as if they were helping make the child transgender, which is not how that works. And the Meads also claim in the lawsuit school officials who lack appropriate training are not qualified to diagnose gender dysphoria, which again is not what anyone was doing. They're saying, hey, kid, what do you need to succeed at school? Oh, there are simple things we could do. Why don't we do that? They didn't diagnose anything. Like the reality here is that school officials accommodated sensible requests from a student who wasn't asking for much. And now these bigot Christian parents are coming after them for violating their supposed constitutional right to be shitty parents. So this lawsuit just it made news like a day or two ago. I suspect you're going to see more articles about it in the days to come. It's just a reminder of the priorities, the broken priorities of some of these Christian parents. I should tell you right now, there are more details because this is how long is this lawsuit? This is a 44-page lawsuit. There are more details, but I don't think they're relevant to the gist of the story, which is what I'm trying to tell you. So if I left anything out, it's not intentional. I do see a question. Did the school intentionally keep this from his parents? Might the school have not known whether or not he has told his parents or not? I will, there we go. There's the question. The answer is, well, the school clearly did not tell the parents about this. What I don't know the answer to is if they had good reason not to tell the parents about this, because what the lawsuit claims is that internally they were using he, him pronouns and using the child's name. But when emailing with the parents, they were using the dead name. They were using the old pronouns. And it's only when the school slipped up that the parents figured out what was happening. And that's part of the reason they got mad about this. But again, I don't know if the kid may have told the counselors, like, my parents can't know about this because they will beat me, because they will make me like suppress this. And I don't feel comfortable sharing this information with them. I don't know if that's the reason. It's not like the school has filed a response to all this, even if they did, because it involves sensitive information about a minor. It's possible that will not be made public. I will say the last I checked, the school said we have no comment on this lawsuit because we have not actually been served with any papers yet. So it seems like ADF put out press release before actually sending the school the lawsuit, which is backwards. But anyway, I hope that answers the question right there.